Hello, I'm Richard with EV4U Custom Conversions, and welcome to another episode. And we're going to do a little explanation of this week's episode. Not that it needs an introduction, but I just wanted to share this with you anyway. A couple weekends ago, I was going to an Electric Auto Association meeting in Chico, California. It's about an 80-mile drive from here. And I was expecting to meet up with a friend of mine who has the Tropica. And back in February, we did an episode on the Tropica that he was working on for a gentleman in exchange for being able to take some molds off of his Tropica so that he could do his own. Anyway, that was something that I was planning on featuring. He had emailed me a couple of nights prior to the meeting saying that he was going to be bringing the Tropica to Chico. And I figured while I was there, we were going to be meeting at the Nissan dealer, that we could feature the new 2013 Nissan Leaf. So that's what I was anticipating doing that day. Well, during the meeting, participants were asking questions, and the gentleman from the dealership, didn't have all the answers, and occasionally I did, and so I was sharing with the group what I knew. And so this one gentleman started asking me questions, and after the meeting, he approached me with some additional questions, and so we're talking. And a third gentleman comes up, and he asked the guy that I was originally talking to about his Tesla Model S. And I'm like, "You have a Tesla Model S?" He goes, "Yeah." And so they were talking, and the guy goes, "Well, did you bring it today?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he looked at me and he says, "I'm parked right next to you." Well, I said, "Well, let's go take a look at it." So we went out to the parking lot and checked out his Tesla Model S. Well, let me share a little something else with you. Those of you who are from Southern California will know what I'm talking about. If you were to visit Knott's Berry Farm, Magic Mountain, and Disneyland, you would do it in such a sequence that you would visit Disneyland last. Because if you went to Disneyland first, the others would be rather disappointing. And that's kind of somewhat what happened a couple Saturdays ago. I wasn't anticipating getting to ride and drive a Tesla Model S, but that's what happened. And just as it turned out, the sequence was we took off in the Model S right after the meeting. And so once we got back from that experience, went for a ride in the Tropica and got to drive that, and you'll see that in last week's video. And then last but not least was the Nissan Leaf. But the feeling to me was, you're kind of a little euphoric after having driven a Tesla Model S. That is an incredible car. I think it has no equal at this point in time as far as the big picture. I mean, there's cars that are faster, there are cars that are more luxurious. But when you figure the big picture, economy, luxury, performance, I think you're hard-pressed. It is a very, very nice vehicle. And if I had an extra $100,000 laying around, I'd probably grab one. But anyway, so hope you enjoyed this week's episode. We're going to try to do more subjects, episodes where the subject matter is a little more varied. The heart of things is still going to be the educational component, the how-to component. And we're going to feature some additional conversions this year as we get permission from owners to do so. So one of the upcoming ones is the 1991 Volkswagen double cab transporter. So stay tuned for updates on that project. So let's go for a ride in a 2012 Tesla Model S. Hello, this is Richard with EV4U Custom Conversions. And a little special treat today. We're going to be driving the Tesla Model S. Was visiting an EAA meeting in Chico, California, and it was being held at the Nissan dealer. And so we were checking out the Leafs, and this gentleman happened to be attending, and lo and behold, he happened to be driving a Model S. And has been generous enough to take us for a ride, and even more generous to allow me to drive it. So we're going to go for a little ride. Just going to move the stock down to drive. I mean, just you don't move it, you just tap it down. Beautiful. Throttle is very, very smooth. You can't get any smoother than that. It's not real sensitive or anything. It's just very smooth, subtle. Boy, the regenerative braking is fabulous. You can literally drive with one foot here. About 7 miles an hour, I had to give it the brakes. And of course, it has that legendary Tesla performance. I mean, it just effortlessly accelerates. Beautiful. And it just as effortlessly decelerates. I'm not using the brake pedal at all. Does this go around the block where he was?
Yeah, you can just keep going around.
Okay. Has a very solid feel to it. Smooth ride. I would compare it to ride feel like a BMW or a Mercedes-Benz. Comfortable seat. I love all the controls at your fingertips here. I mean, there's not going to be another car on the road that's any more high-tech than this. .42 miles an hour down to, wow, down to 7. I mean, so in normal driving, you literally would never touch the brake except for maybe when you got down under 10 miles an hour. Just a very smooth, fluid acceleration. I automatically go for the brake and you don't need to. Yeah. Very, very nice. This car would probably take you a month to learn all the ins and outs. There's so many fancy features, but just as the basic car itself has a very solid feel. Now, on the dash here, it looks like it's saying kilowatt, so that's the kilowatt, both consumption and replenishment, as we're accelerating and decelerating. Is that what that figure is?
Right, but it turns green.
Right, but when it's orange now, at 20, I'm using 20 kilowatts.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm regenerating at 30 there for a moment. And of course, as it gets slower and slower, that decreases. It actually goes to 0 right about 6.
Mm-hmm.
Since the last charge, it gives you your distance, total energy, average energy. Got
multiple trip meters here with the distance, the energy, and average energies.
Go ahead and take it around again, and I'll show you that you can change the mode of your steering and the car performance by hitting the sports mode. As you're moving, you'll feel the steering wheel tighten up.
All right.
But you can go ahead and just push the button if you want. Put it to sports. You'll feel the tightening of the steering wheel.
Yes. So it's got traction control. Now, what's creep? For like an automatic transmission feel, to where you would just let off the brake and it would creep?
No, yeah, that's what's on right now is the creep mode. If you stop and put it in park, you can go ahead and do that if you want. Just put the transmission in, or it doesn't have a transmission, but just put it in park there. Not pushing it, no, by pushing it on it. There you go. And then you can change this to creep off. Now when you let your foot off the throttle, it sits here instead of rolling. The creep mode is something that they were complaining about, didn't feel like a regular car. So they give you the option to turn that on or off.
So by turning that on,
you have to go into drive again.
Yeah, back in, with your brake, with your foot on the brake.
I see, yeah. It wants it. So is it possible then that when it's out of the creep mode, is it going to have greater regenerative braking to a lower point? You know, because it wants to creep when you get down slow. You see what I'm saying? Let's take a let's find out here. We're decelerating. Wow.
But you can also turn that.
Yeah.
This can be. You can turn this off while you're going. Now, try it. You're not going to have much of a regenerating.
Cut it in about half.
Mm-hmm. And you can just
very nice.
Throw it back on. Everything is adjustable in the car all the way to.
Well, I love the way the sunroof by percentage, just like if you were cranking it.
Well, even in the sunroof, they show a mode that's the most efficient to have the sunroof open. Anything past that, you're messing with it.
You can stop at any time too.
Yeah, you can move it up and down from here too. You don't have to sit there.
You want more than one way to skin a cat? They're giving you 12.
You don't have to. You don't have to really take your eyes off the road to close the skylight.
So that's for your side mirror adjustments too, obviously.
What's that?
Side mirror adjustments, is that done the same way?
What's nice about any adjustment in this car, if you move the seat up while you're driving it, it asks you, do you want to save it right there? You don't have to stop and look through the book and figure out how to do all that stuff.
So as soon as you get comfortable, save.
Yeah, you could put, up to 3 drivers, I believe, in here, 4 maybe.
Very unusual rear view mirror, appearance-wise. It looks like a piece of premium cut glass. I don't have all these funky things on there. I guess these are like map lights built in here.
Right. And here's your speaker, or not your speaker, this is what picks up your sound when you're doing your commands in the car. Just the same as if you were on the radio mode.
Yeah, let's hear some speakers.
I'll shut this off now for a minute. Another function that you can do with the car too, under your controls, in your driving mode, for low curbs, we're bringing the car up. You'll see the front starting to come up now. The back comes up first.
Oh yeah, I can feel the back coming up.
Front's starting to
Now
rise.
there's the front.
If you're driving like on snow, ice, something like that, you'd want to bring it up as high as you can there. It'll automatic.
To begin with is for less drag on that air.
Yeah, the lower, usually it'll drop down to the standard mode under 55.
What does it have built-in jacks?
No, the jack mode is if you have a flat tire and need to change the tire, the car will continue to try and level itself out of it. So that's why you put it in this. You're in park. You put it in jack mode.
So it overrides the leveling feature.
And then it shows a picture with the car with it off. All of your updates, this thing updates just like an iPad and an iPhone. They're downloaded at like at 2 o'clock in the morning, or you can set it to any time you want it. But there'll be a little screen that'll come up here that shows that there's an update ready for it. Like when we first got the car, all this stuff this car was red. It was their signature red. So they sent the updates and stuff down, and now the cars are color.
Yeah.
So it's just,
Does it tell you air pressure?
It only tells you if it needs pressure. It doesn't tell you that. We have that in the other car, and I just assume no if one of the tires is low, and that's what that'll come on. So we should probably put the tire back on.
That was an easy tire change.
But under settings, you have all these different settings that you can. Let's see, under drivers, profiles, measurements, Celsius, all that stuff, vehicle. So you can change all of these settings as you would. Range mode will give you about an extra 8 to 10 miles per drive, and what it's going to do is going to limit some of the functions. The air conditioner is not going to be quite as good as it was, the heater, all that stuff. It's limiting that so that you can get that extra 8 to 10 miles. I usually don't use it.
Unless you're really tight on your distance.
If I was really tight, maybe. The most efficient way for the car in the wintertime to heat it, and I use it all the time, is just a seat heater. I don't really feel like I need to have the big main heater on all the time. So if it's really cold, then yeah, maybe. But I really haven't used it. The handles, you can have them auto present when you walk up to the car instead of touching the handle.
Keys get close to it.
That was a cool feature. I liked that.
Yeah, but I don't use it because at the shop where I walk in and out, I'm going by the car all the time, and it's always
You don't want to
this
snag.
with the handles.
Yeah.
So.
Matter of fact, I'm going to go out and do a little walk around.
Okay.
Can we pop the back end again and the hood and get some...
There's the front. There's the back. You could close that from there. The front one's manually.
But you can close the trunk from in here.
Yeah.
The outside view of the 2012 Tesla Model S.
I'm like you.
So this
I'm
is
always trying to promote this stuff. You know, I'm not
under the front.
showing off. I'm just showing the technology that's out there.
That's my approach on.
No dirty gasoline engine under the front here.
I'm still toying with those panels I've got. I think it's better for myself.
They're the 165.
And then of course, it's got more luggage space in the back. Just huge amount of storage. The door handles are flush until you touch it. Oh, I thought till you touched it. Hang on. How do you make the door handles come out? Use the fob only, or?
Just touching them, really, they'll come out.
Oh, I touched it. It didn't come out. Okay.
I did it with the keys.
Okay. Can you make it go back in?
I think. I guess not letting me because the trunks and stuff are open.
Oh, okay. I did notice that they timed out a minute ago and went back in.
They will do that again.
Yeah.
You might be there for 5 minutes.
Very, very nice.
Yeah, it's nice that you can just bring your ice chest.
The huge amount of storage.
Because it's great for groceries. I mean, you get out of the store, just bring your cart of looking at, you put it in there, and you're done.
It goes back to the VW bug. You know?
I mean, I always keep my briefcase in there when it's packed up with my stuff, and that way I'm ready to bolt anytime I want to leave. Sometimes something comes up to the shop, and the guys that can handle it for the next week, and I'll just take off. We'll head to Arizona, or the wine country, or where we want to go.
Well, I've got a buddy who I'm sure you'd be interested in the X. Diesel X. I am.
That you've had sports cars and luxury
Yeah,
cars.
I've had a lot of luxury cars and a lot of sports cars, and I've never owned something like this. It's a combination of them both. Long distance travel, 800 miles in a day was very comfortable. No anxiety about the thing at all as far as...
So where did you go to and then
down from Chico to Sedona, Arizona, and stayed in Kingman. Spent one night on the road in Kingman. That's the only place that we had to pay for fuel or charging power. That was at an RV park. The rest of the time, out of the 11,000 miles that I have on it now, total cost has been around $36. That's it. I love that part.
And you took delivery the end of December, you said?
No, the first part of December.
First part of December?
We took the delivery.
And just, you mind introducing yourself?
Craig Horner. Own
Craig
Sun
from
Valley Acoustical, and we have a little mini charging setup for Tesla owners or anybody with an electric vehicle that can use what we have there. Just
Is
to
that,
kind
did
of
you
help
say
promote.
that is in Paradise or Chico?
Chico.
Chico, California,
Yeah.
okay.
Just to kind of help promote and get this area up until we get some public charging stations and some higher powered charging stations for some of the newer cars like this that theoretically can be charged in an hour with the right amount of power. So.
Well, very much appreciate your willingness to share this beautiful car.
I love promoting it.
Because this is definitely the state of the art. This is the latest and greatest by all means. The door handles have gone back in, which gives it a very pretty and sleek look.
Right now, I got to be a certain distance from the car with the key fob to bring it up.
Very nice.
For telling you your estimated range.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just, I drove it down from Paradise and around town a little bit today. So it's, still got 216 miles. I found that the rated range is actually pretty accurate.
Is that miles per hour on your screen? The 18,
This
21, 22?
What do you see?
The larger digit,
24,
yeah.
the big digit, that's miles per hour.
Yeah, 25 miles an hour now, and this is your range, rated range 215.
So the little arrow on the left, that's kind of the efficiency gauge we've got going there.
Right, you can...
I'm talking about on the center screen there.
Yeah, what you're
in the
seeing
dash.
right here, same thing.
Yeah, okay.
This shows you, every time you plug it in, this resets to 0 on it. You can look at your, any of these things that's here on the top screen.
You can take from the center screen, put it in the center. I mean,
Yeah, any of this stuff,
dash,
like if you want this up here, you can put it up here, you can move it to this side, you can take everything off except for the speedometer. You can put the music up here, you can put the navigation system.
Yeah, I like having a big map.
Jeez.
There you go.
So this is a 2012?
Yeah, everything was, as soon as it's, January 1st and everything's known as a 13, even though, they started delivering them just what, in October, November.
So since December 1st, so yeah, you just missed the 13 designation.
Now the model that's going to be offered, I don't remember exactly what he said.
Model X.
60,000 or what?
Model X is be a
X?
X. That's a sedan. That's going to be their SUV.
Okay.
I saw an ad for the Model R recently.
Huh?
I just saw an ad for the Model R.
What is that?
It's going to be the Roadster replacement.
Oh,
It is beautiful.
really?
Oh, yeah, I like it much better than the old Lotus body, you know.
Well, if you put, because at the factory I was able to see this car alongside the Roadster, and it was really amazing how the Roadster looks like a go-kart compared to the size of this thing. I mean, day and night difference with the two of them sitting there side by side.
Well,
I mean,
but this
is a
has some
full-size
great.
car.
Oh yeah, it's got a huge space in the back here. They made the least luggage space look kind of pathetic.
Well,
But they
it's
actually,
quite a
now,
hefty
are the
price.
jump seats an option?
Yeah, they're $1,500.
Okay,
And
they're rear facing, aren't they?
yeah, and it's actually, and I guess their safety crash tests and stuff is the safest place for kids to be.
Wow.
So the Model X, that's a SUV,
All-wheel drive.
Yeah.
and that looks more approximates what kind of model for what? Would that be like a 4Runner looking thing, or?
Or like the BMW or Mercedes.
Yeah, I can show it up when we got on the screen here when we stop. You can see it.
Does this have a safety feature where you can't be surfing on it while you're driving?
No, you can sit here and go. You can
no.
sit here on this thing and go on. Here's the web, the internet coming up.
It's scary.
It's non.
I bet you somebody comes in and forces them to take that.
I always thought it was alive. I couldn't believe that you could do that. But you know, one of the things I will say about it is, I think as easy as this thing is to control, it's much easier to control. All your controls are right here. So you know, your sunroof, you want it opened up, you want it closed. It's easier to do that than it is to, you know, looking for a button somewhere in the vehicle.
I understand that, but the actual surfing the web, I don't think that should be allowed while you're driving.
I don't think so either. But you know, it's like this. What's incredible about this thing is just the speed and the performance on the thing. It's just.
Oh yeah, you can't get that out of a gas car.
Too bad that doesn't translate onto video, because.
And then now what you know, I'm not touching the brakes. It's the regenerative that's slowing us down.
Oh my word!
Now.
That's.
So just when you take your foot off the gas, it'll do that automatically.
And the brake lights come on depending on what your speed is. For it, you'll feel that, and that's why.
Did you use the brakes at all just now? Oh my word!
You can get to the point where you just don't even.
One pedal driving.
Well, it's like if it's a stop sign here, you'd probably let off of it. Oh, there's somebody behind me. I'll do it up here. So say, you know, up to this mailbox up here, you want to stop there, you're probably going to let off. That might even be too soon. You don't really apply the brakes unless you're going about 5 miles an hour. Now just let loose.
So it'll take you down to under 10 miles an hour just with the regenerative, and the full stop would be with the brake.
It feels like when you let off the brakes, it feels like you're doing it's about 50% that it's actually applying the brakes.
I mean, when you let off on the gas.
When you let off,
yeah.
They don't like you to call it gas.
The throttle.
Accelerator.
I'll let you both drive it. A couple of things. So I'm stopped now, pushing this in, activates the electronic brake, and then you're basically done. You can walk away from the car from now, it'll automatically lock it all up. As long as the key fobs, there's no button to push to start it. This thing will turn around and basically it'll shut off. I can tell it's still going because the power steering's still up. You can hear a little bit of a noise from the monitor cooler or whatever it is, but and just adjust the seat wherever you want it, because I can put mine back on just by pushing the button. So a lot of people, that was like my only complaint on it, is not being able to see that the one that you use the most, you know.
Yeah, that's one thing, like with the Miata, they put the controls at 10 and 2.
Yeah.
So you virtually never take your hand off the wheel. I mean, I can activate the wipers and everything with you know, still at 10 and 2.
Yeah. Well,
I think that looks like the turn signal's a little bit low.
it is. I'd like to be able to see it with in a neutral position like this. But the,
from your viewing perspective.
You don't
from
see
the,
it.
You don't see it. Okay, from here I can see it, but okay.
That's interesting. I like how this gauge is showing me how much power I'm using, I guess, and
Yeah.
how much power I'm regenerating.
Yeah, it goes to the green. As soon as you let off of it, it's going to go green.
And you can let off
Wow.
at different rates.
After about a week of driving it, you'll get used to it.
Yeah, there's an acclimation period. Yeah, but it's impressive how much regenerative you get.
You can actually turn that off. Women,
Oh.
a lot of women don't like it.
I drove the Mini ES,
Yeah.
or the Mini E, I mean, real aggressive regen, and I know it's variable, but the way this guy had it set up, you can make an emergency stop just by letting off the throttle.
Really?
I mean, it was, and there would have been a little bit of a.
Run around. Don't hesitate to throttle it up. It's not going to hurt anything. It's
Go
broke
back
in.
the way I came.
It has a very nice ride. The back seat's very comfortable.
Space car.
So what's the 0 to 60 time on these?
I think they have it
7 or
at
7?
5.
5? Wow.
Watch your. This thing is wider
really
than
long.
it looks.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Because I've already nicked one of the rims. You know,
That's
to
awesome.
me,
That's
it feels like you know when you're on a jet airplane, it's on the runway and he's throttling up.
and he lets off the
It's
brakes.
It's
Yeah.
just fluid.
Exactly. Yeah, it's nice.
Because there's no shifting. Watch that curve. It's closer than you think.
Okay. I should have the screen on. Then I go there.
That's it. What's on? So I like the option of having the daytime driving lights on. So those are always on. If I touch the button, it turns them off. Now they're back on. You can change the, unlike on the display, a lot of times I just prefer the night mode. It's not too bright. The main thing that I mess around with in the car is the
Music?
no, no, is the night mode. For some reason, my eyes are just kind of sensitive to that.
Yeah, you don't normally have light coming from there.
I'll put it back into auto mode. So I keep that on my right here. I change this button so it adjusts that.
Oh.
You can put anything that you control a lot on these two buttons right here. So whatever you like to control off it, whether it be the radio or whatever, it can be just forward on you. You don't have to even look at the screen.
Thumb control.
You know, for energy, if you want energy up, you can swap the energy to down here and put the radio back up here. You know, after a week with this display, it's really simple to use.
Yeah, you don't even look over there after a while, huh?
No.
Because it's large enough. I mean, it's not like you know, on a smartphone where you got to get the pointiest part of your finger at the right spot. I mean, it's just.
This your car here?
Yeah.
That's nice. You know, Gary.